Hello everyone, my name is Mucha and welcome to Psomi for today. I wanted to share on something I've titled His Father's Loud Silence. It's actually about the prodigal son. If we look at the text, Luke chapter 15 verse 11 to 32. Luke chapter 15 verse 11 to 32. To illustrate the point further, Jesus told them this story. A man had two sons. The younger son told his father, "I want my share of your estate now before you die." So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his sons. A few days later, his younger son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land, and there he wasted all his money in wild living. So what this son was basically saying is that I can't wait until you die, so give me my inheritance now. He was saying to his father, you are now dead to me because you can only actually receive an inheritance upon the death of a person. There's nothing like a pre-death estate. He left his father's house, protection, and love because he could not exercise delayed gratification. He didn't want to stay to love, honor, and learn from his father. He wanted to enjoy his future now, and that was the last time his father spoke to him. Verse 14. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land, and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him, but no one gave him anything. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, "At home even the hired servants have food enough to spare. Here I am dying of hunger. I'll go home to my father and say, 'Father, I've sinned against both heaven and you. I am no longer worthy of being called your son. Please take me as your hired servant.'" When you make rash decisions, you will not get the opposition of God or anyone. Sometimes we feel God is dramatic, and we think that God is okay with impulsive decisions because we think if it was wrong, he will strike us down with lightning. God's not dramatic like that most of the time. God's silence does not mean approval. It isn't. It's him communicating, okay, you're now on your own. Your harsh and unfavorable situation will communicate very loudly to you, and you come to your senses. Like the son was now eating with pigs. So he turned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against both heaven and you. I am no longer worthy of being called your son." But his father said to the servants, "Quick, bring the finest robe in the house and put it on him. Get a ring on his finger and sandals for his feet, and kill the calf we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast. For this son of mine was dead, he has now returned to life. He was lost, but now he's found." So the party began. So there are decisions that you will make that God will keep quiet. And he will use other people to talk to you because he disregarded him. His father still loved him so much, but he did not speak to him again. The son cut off his relationship with his father. When the son took the inheritance, he was saying, "My father is dead and buried." The father only spoke to his servants about his son. Though he was happy his son was back, he could not have the same relationship with him again. When we miss it with God, it's not always sin, but sometimes we lose our place. It doesn't mean God doesn't love you, but you're now in a different position. In some cases, you lacked faithfulness and discipline. You'll be replaced, but still loved. Meanwhile, the elder son was in the fields working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. And he asked one of the servants what was going on. "Your brother is back," he was told, "and your father has killed the fattened calf we are celebrating because of his self-return." The older brother was angry and wouldn't go in. His father came out and begged him, but he replied, "All these years I've slaved for you and never once refused to do a single thing you told me to do. In all the time, you never gave me even one young goat for a feast with my friends. Yet when this son of yours comes back after squandering your money on prostitutes, you celebrate by killing the fattened calf." His father said to me, "Look, dear son, you have always stayed by me, and everything I have is yours. We have to celebrate this happy day, for your brother was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, but now he's found." The lost son no longer had an inheritance. What was left of the father's wealth belonged to the older son. The man was not going to divide what was left again with his sons. You move backwards when you're impulsive. The prodigal son was not rejected, but he no longer had an inheritance. He was going to have to work from scratch to gain wealth. He has moved a generation of wealth backwards because of his impulsive decisions. If his father was to pass away before he made something of himself, he is left at the mercy of his brother. We can already see the older brother is not as gracious as his father. Sometimes we deceive ourselves by saying, I feel peace about it. Actually, it's the Holy Spirit that's quiet because you've grieved him, and he's not going to convict you. The Holy Spirit is a gentleman. He's not going to impose himself on you. So emotions will actually agree with your foolishness. That excitement goes to your head. Therefore, you think, I'm at peace, I'm excited about my decision, and you go ahead. But always remember, God our Father wants us to have a relationship. He wants us to stay with him. If you feel God is stopping you from living your best life with his word, then you find yourself in a messy situation. God is loving, God is kind, but God is also fair and just. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time. Bye.